Hello and welcome to GameSack. This time around we're going to talk about some really bad games.
Yeah, these are stinkers.
They are, and most of them I think they're just really poorly made. The developers didn't know what they were doing, except for one of them they just made some bad game design choices.
You know, who knows? We don't know if they're just lazy or they had no idea how to make a game or what, but
I don't know.
They just didn't turn out good. And you know what? You don't have to play it, because we're going to play it for you.
Yeah, unfortunately. And why don't you give us the first bad game, Dave?
All right, so stay with us. Here we go. Pip Fighter is an awful game. At one sad point in my life, I actually enjoyed playing this game with some friends of mine. In reality, it's just a button masher with a punch, kick, and a jump button. You can also grab your opponents or use a special move to help win. Anybody, even your mom, could do well at this game. This is obviously a port from the arcade, and there are some differences due to the hardware limitations, but it remains fairly intact. Sadly, the game hasn't aged well, at all. The music, well, if you can call it that, is barely there. Mostly minimalistic with that twangy sound that bad Genesis games are known for.
Hey, come on, man. Genesis sounds good.
It can, but definitely not here. Control-wise, the game is actually quite responsive. It may very well be the best part of this game, well, besides turning it off when you're done with it. I can honestly say that I have no plans to ever power up this game again after this episode. Is that sad or what?
It'd even be more sad if you actually had plans to play this tumor of a game. Impossible is a game that was ported to the TurboGrafx-16 from ancient European computers. The game is aptly named. For one, you play as a mole. Yep, another attempt at some sort of animal mascot. Secondly, the game is damn near impossible.
You mean impossible.
Quiet, you. Anyway, you can kick enemies if you can get within a pixel or two near them. Of course, they'll have no trouble hitting you, and you get to experience the joy of bouncing back when you do get hit. You have absolutely no control as you're bouncing around. Anyway, your goal is to find all of the scrolls in each level before you exit, and even doing that in level 1 is daunting. That's because the poorly designed levels punish you if you don't go in the exact order. Got all but one of the scrolls and you find yourself near the exit? No problem, just go back and get the one you missed. Now if I can just get back up here. Ugh, this is way tougher than it needs to be. Okay, now I need to get back up here. It's nearly impossible to jump back up here. Hell, maybe it can't be done at all. Wait, what? How did that happen? Now, I know I need to go onto the other side of this house, and there's just no way to get over there. I can't go back up and over it. I'm completely stuck in this part of the level. This is just ridiculous. The game lets you select any level but the final one right from the beginning because it knows that's pretty much the only way you're ever going to see him. Not that you'd really want to.
Well, you might if you were young and got this as a gift with no receipt and had no other games to play.
Granted, some of the graphics are nice and colorful, but the gameplay remains just as frustrating and poorly programmed in every single level. What a stupid game.
Shaq-fu for the Genesis is a shallow attempt to cash in on the fighting game Cash Cow.
It's also on the Super Nintendo, Game Boy, Game Gear, and the Amiga, but we're just not lucky enough to have all those versions.
Firstly, who wants to play a fighting game with a basketball star? Not me, and I hope Shaq's reputation went down a few points after this game was released just to teach him a lesson.
Basically, in the single-player game, you're in Japan for a charity basketball game, like Shaq would play a charity basketball game. Anyway, I like how you're just wandering around Tokyo, taking in the sights, and of course, you're in your full basketball uniform. A random shop owner tries to get you to go into a secret door in the back of his shop, and of course you see nothing wrong with this. So in you go and you're off to fight.
The fighting engine is so awkward that you're just going to be frustrated beyond belief and just want to shaq-fu your controller across the room. Everything's so slow to respond to your inputs you might as well not even try. Throwing a projectile takes about 5 seconds. I'm not even kidding. If you want to jump forward or backward, good luck not traversing half the screen as there's no control over where you'll land.
Fortunately, the only buttons you need to worry about are C and Z, your strong attacks. You can plow right through this game using only those two buttons and no special moves whatsoever.
Don't tell me that you actually beat this game, Joe.
Yeah, I did.
There is a duel mode where you can pick any of the other characters to fight and also play with a friend.
Yeah, but they won't be your friend for long.
The music isn't great, but it's not all horrible. It is fine for this game and it has some melodies that aren't too repetitive. Some of the game's backgrounds are pretty cool, and the animations of the characters are pretty smooth, but they can't make up for the broken fighting engine.
Yeah, and Shaq's sprite doesn't even look like Shaq.
Stay away from this one unless you're like me and like to compulsively fill your shelves with smelly things.
Slaughter Sport on the Genesis is a one-on-one fighting game by Razorsoft.
Nice. By the same guys who also brought us Stormlord.
It was previously known as Tongue of the Fat Man and Mondu's Fight Palace by Activision, but never given a wide release because, well, it sucked. Razorsoft is known for games that suck, so they were quick to add this to their lineup. Immediately, you're thrown into a bout where you're fighting a blue version of yourself.
Yeah, this usually doesn't happen till at least the 5th battle in normal fighting games.
The first thing you'll notice is how bad the controls are. You can't just tap a button for an attack, you've mostly got to hold down the buttons to pull off some of the moves here. Not that it matters much because the computer is extremely good at whooping your ass. It really doesn't help that you're almost always facing the wrong direction, and by the time you turn around, your opponent is just pummeling you. The hit detection is very sporadic at best, unless it's the enemy hitting you. There seems to be no blocking, and you even jump with a delay, so simply getting the hell out of there can be problematic. I eventually won a match, and I was taken to a screen where I could buy new magic powers, more life, and all of that stuff. One of the powers you can buy makes you invisible. What's the point if you can't even see your own character?
It's fun. Guess where I am, Joe?
I have no idea.
Well, that sucks because I don't know either, and I was hoping you could tell me.
You don't even get life back from your previous bout either, so you better buy as much as you can. But I really can't stress how horrible the control is and how overly powerful the enemies are. Clearly this is why the game took so long to get released, but you'd think they would have at least fixed some of the things before they did.
Joe, I just had a scary thought. Maybe Razorsoft did fix a lot of things when they acquired it.
Holy crap, I don't even want to think about how this game could have been even worse. I mean, I know this was before Street Fighter 2, but somebody somewhere along the development process should have said, you know guys, this game sucks, let's bring over a cool game from Japan like Run a Hero or Undeadline instead. This game was clearly made as a joke and never meant to be released. Okay, let's take a look at Back to the Future Part 3 on the Genesis. Hey, the scrolling's nice. Oops. Okay, let's get back up on the horse and try again. Oh, oops. Okay, let's keep trying. Oh, I can shoot, and jump, and duck. Oh, crap! I'm not finished yet. What? Damn it! I lost a stage! These controls just suck tremendously and the game moves so fast you don't have time to react to what's coming. And you have a long way to go before you can save Clara. That's a lot of memorization and precise timing on your part. Actually, no, it's just a lot of luck. And this is only the first stage. Good thing they give you unlimited continues. The next stage is a shooting gallery where you simply have to score enough points to advance, but this is easier said than done. The way your gun slides back and forth makes precision nearly impossible, and to aim the gun up, you have to press down. It's completely counterintuitive, and once again the game runs way too fast. This stage would be difficult even if you were holding a real light gun. I imagine that it probably plays better on a PAL console since Europe runs a lot slower than the US and Japan. But on an NTSC console, it's frustrating as hell. Okay, on to stage 3 where you're throwing pies at Mad Dog's gang. Here you can only walk back and forth in a straight line. You have a limited number of pies you can throw, and you can get more by walking back to the table. Aiming the pies is mind-numbingly difficult. There seems to be absolutely no rhyme or reason to the controls here that I can figure out. Who designed this game? I really hope that their current job is shoveling poo somewhere, because that's exactly what they were doing when they made this game. Here's the 4th and final level of the game. Yep, the game has only 4 stages. This is the best stage by far, but it still sucks. Basically, you've got to make your way across the top of the train before the timer runs out. You throw pies at the enemies and jump over passing poles. If you don't jump, the poles hit you and you fall off the train. Why would they hit you? Shouldn't those poles be on the side of the train tracks? There's also these colored things that you're supposed to pick up, but I'll be damned if I can figure out how. Screw this game. Yeah, man, that Back to the Future just makes the movie look like a masterpiece. And, you know, the third Back to the Future really wasn't the best one.
You got that right. That was disgusting both ways around it. You know, I mean, the game didn't have a lot of inspiration to draw from the movie, so what do you expect? A bad game.
I think they could have done a lot better.
And I'm sorry for the people who actually spent money on that game when it was brand new.
Anyway, let's look at a game that has actually a really, 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 really good movie. And why don't you take us to that?
I think that's about 3 too many reallys.
Okay.
On there. Lord of the Rings Volume 1 on the SNES is one big turd. So, just to get it out of the way, I'm a large fan of the Tolkien books. Not the movies, but the books, so already this game has a lot to live up to in my eyes.
I like the movies.
That's nice, Joe. So, in this game, like the movie, you must take the ring back to the Crack of Doom and destroy it. Well, at least that's what I'm thinking would happen if I was able to get anywhere in this game. Anyway, you start the game as Frodo and you must round up your Hobbit companions to start the journey of the ring. Firstly, you find Sam, and he says that he can't leave until he finds the gaffer's glasses. What? Are you serious, Sam? The weight of all Middle-earth is resting on this journey and you won't leave until you find a pair of glasses? Okay, I'll look for the others. I find Pippin and he joins me after I kill a bunch of wolves. He then dies shortly after because he can't defend himself. Well, I don't want him on the quest anyways. Checking in with Sam again and he's still in the same exact spot. Besides the ridiculously slow start, the combat is pretty lame. You must push the action button to swing your sword way in advance or you won't get a hit. When you go into caves, you find a map, but I have absolutely no idea how to look at it. It's nowhere to be found in your inventory. You know, as far as I'm concerned, Sauron will rule the third age of Middle-earth forever, as his race will find the Shire and the ring well before the gaffer gets his glasses back.
Well, I was determined to find them. They were right here, just like in the book. Now you can take them back to Sam because he hasn't moved an inch to find them. Okay, now you can go out east. You're wandering through a bland forest when Sam finally dies. Good. If I have to do his work for him, he's not going to be helpful to me anyway. So you're told to take the ferry across the river. The ferryman says that Farmer Maggot told him not to take strangers across. So you find Farmer Maggot and he gives you a letter that demands that the ferryman take you across. The ferryman agrees, but he doesn't have his oar. And guess who needs to get it? He gives you absolutely no clue where it might be. Is everyone in this land completely unreliable and incompetent? This painfully slow game is just not worth anyone's time. Darkwing Duck was fantastic for the most part on the NES.
Good old Nintendo.
Yeah, it had that classic Capcom graphic style music and gameplay. So Darkwing Duck on the TurboGrafx 16's gotta even be better, right? Oh dear lord. This one's not by Capcom. You select your level from the map and off you go. It starts out okay as Darkwing Duck himself looks fairly well drawn and the game has a minimalist yet cartoony look to it. You can shoot your enemies, which sometimes kills them but usually just stuns them. I can't figure out how to kill them instead of stun them. It seems almost random. Sometimes you can even bounce on enemies to kill them, but most of the time you're the only one getting hurt. Sometimes you can even bounce off of the colored jewels to get items. Okay, so your mission is to collect all of the puzzle pieces in a level. Damn, these guys are hard to jump over on this hill. Oops, I died. Try again. Okay, I'll just bounce off this again and... What? Why can't I bounce off of it anymore? Oh man, that's some seriously shoddy programming there. The enemies and their shots are hard to avoid and it's nearly impossible to neutralize them. Okay, so you get all of the puzzle pieces and now it's time to fight the boss. Okay, I can bounce on his head and it takes off a good chunk of his life bar. But damn, I can't hit him again. Look at this. I'm even sacrificing my own life trying to hit him and it cannot be done. Maybe I need to fly at him at an angle. Nope, it's completely random if I hit him. Either that or the hitbox on each sprite is exactly 1 pixel big and I have to line them up perfectly or I'm the one who gets hurt.
It's impossible to control your jumps and there is some serious lag between you hitting the jump button and the jump being executed. You actually crouch first before you jump.
Yeah, isn't that stupid? I cannot make it past this guy. Maybe I'll try a different stage and come back to this guy later. So now we're in a cave and it has some pretty neat scrolling, but it's still near impossible to avoid getting hit. If you fall through one of these holes, you're taken to the land of impossible platforming thanks to the broken controls. Okay, so I need to wait here for that platform to come back down before I can jump on it. What the hell? Seriously, what the hell? What the hell? I can't even stand on a platform and wait for it to line up with another one? So other games have a wait animation where you tap your foot, but this game has a wait animation where you die. Yes, you actually lose a life. This game has no right to exist. Nightmare Circus for the Genesis was a game that was only released on the Sega Channel, but it did get a physical release in Brazil.
I don't even know what the hell this game's trying to be.
Yeah, me neither. You can select from 4 different stages in the beginning. You play as Raven, a guy who breaks into the circus after midnight so he doesn't have to pay. The joke's on him, however, or maybe it's on me for playing this game. As you can see simply by watching this, the control is laughable and so are your moves. In fact, an entire button is assigned to make Raven do this. Yeah, that'll be effective. So you just fight these 2 little monkey things forever and you can't beat them. I don't think there's even a way to complete the level. Okay, let's try something else. A roller coaster track with zombies. Maybe if I roared at them. Nope, that doesn't seem to work. They're pretty tough to beat and they even shoot at me with their guns. Come on guys, leave me alone. I just want to ride the roller coaster, but they just keep coming and coming. I don't think there's an end to this level. And yes, I should remind you that this game was actually released. Okay, different stage. This is weird. I'm in a strange room. A ladder, maybe I should climb it. Damn, how do I climb this ladder? Why the hell is there a ladder here if I can't climb it? Alright, now I'm fighting. I have no idea what I'm fighting, but I don't think I'm winning. Sure you can. Wow, I won. Not that it really matters, mind you, because there's really no way to get out of this convoluted stage. Okay, let's look at the last stage. At least I think it's the last stage. Looks like I'm on some kind of Ferris wheel. Ouch, it's on fire at the bottom. And there are endless zombies here too, with absolutely no way that I can see at the end of the level. What the hell am I doing here? I must really love this Ferris wheel. Oh, the fire. Oh, thank God.
You know, Wikipedia says this was supposed to be Sega's answer to Donkey Kong Country. I have a hard time believing that, but if it's true, that's just sad.
It's Wayne's World, party time, excellent!
Wayne's World on the Genesis is another bad apple. It's based on the movie, which is based on a Saturday Night Live skit. It starts off with Wayne and Garth talking about the 10 worst video games and how they got sucked into the very worst one, so even they know this game's bad. So you play as Wayne trying to rescue Garth from inside the game. You start out in a giant maze full of musical instruments and sound equipment. Wayne has a guitar that he attacks with, and just listen how awesome it sounds. Wayne's sprite is way too big, and his head is practically half of it. Anyway, you run around the stage grabbing power-ups, more life, and special attacks, desperately looking for a way out of this living hell. But the control is very slippery.
Yeah, not to mention that the jump button is B and the attack is C, completely backwards from the majority of games out there, and you can't even change the controls around.
You've got to make a lot of leaps of faith. You never know where you're going to land. You could land on the electricity running between 2 speakers and get hurt. You just never know until you completely memorize the stage, and you know what? My brain doesn't want to store this much information about a crappy game. And this level is huge, and there's no level select codes for this version. You have to move slowly because otherwise you might run into an enemy and get hurt. And just listen to the music. It's the worst. I think I'd rather have permanent tinnitus. Wayne also makes fantastic little noises constantly whenever he grabs a power-up or gets hurt.
Swing! Excellent! Not worthy!
It's like they tried to give this game some tood, but they somehow even broke that. Oh, look at that! I finally made it to the end of the stage 1. Thank God!
Excellent!
What? Stage 2 is another one of these giant music store stages? It took me over an hour to make it through the first one. Oh my God, there are actually 3 of these ridiculously giant stages. And bouncing on these drums is very frustrating because the collision detection in this game is so horrid that you sometimes go right through them. Okay, finally made it to level 4 and it's a boss. He dies pretty easily if you have enough special attacks. Now you're greeted to Wayne and Garth again.
This dweeb talk goes on for a few minutes. I don't remember 90s humor being this bad. And if you're a Queen fan, you get treated to a stunning orchestration of Bohemian Rhapsody, which I guess is the high point of the movie or something. Yeah, it brings tears to my eyes too, Garth. Or maybe tears to my ears.
Stage 2, you're in a giant kitchen. The graphics are a touch better and at least the music is different, but it's still no fun at all. I'm turning this turd off.
Wait, let's see what Wayne and Garth's #1 worst game was first. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised.
Here's the game's demo of level 3 just for some variety. We couldn't actually make it that far. Or was it we didn't want to make it that far?
Not.
Oh, Dave, man, you picked some really bad games.
No, you picked some really bad games.
Yeah, I did. Anyway, how about you guys? What's some of your least favorite games of all time? Like maybe your bottom 5 or 10 worst games? Let us know, because that might be kind of entertaining.
It might be. You know, these are games that, of course, you probably swear to God you'll never, ever play again. You know.
Hopefully we don't have to play them.
No, I don't want to play them. And, you know, ugh.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for tuning in to our Bad Games episode, and we'll see you next time. All right, in the last episode, we had a short movie that we did a long time ago, and some of you perhaps took exception with Dave here not washing his hands after he emptied his colon.
Yeah. In reality, I am a very clean person, and
He's not. Anyway, here's what we think might have happened if Dave took the time to stop and wash his hands.